What you're about to experience are my opinions and truths. I'm suggesting they're possibilities for you to consider, in which you can then come up with your own logical conclusions.
We need to do simulations, germ games, not war games, so that we see where the holes are. The last time a germ game was done in the United States was back in 2001, and it didn't go so well. So far, the score is germs 1, people 0.
And hello everyone, welcome once again. My name is Logan and this is Decode Your Reality. Today I'm going to be decoding the word vaccine. The probably most talked about topic on the planet right now, other than virus. The counterpart to virus, the vaccine. It's been around a long time, these things, and at the beginning of this video I played this guy right here and his 10-minute TED Talk. I'd highly suggest watching this to its full entirety. You know, I don't know if you realize or not, but just recently this guy stepped down from being the CEO of Microsoft. You know, stepped down from the board of the company. He was the CEO, he stepped down from the board of the company. And that's not just him. I mean, there's multiple main names that are stepping down from their positions. And what is all this stepping down? What does it mean? Why are they doing that? Well, that's from a different story. But folks, if you haven't seen my video on the decoding of the coronavirus, many people have, I'd suggest checking it out. There's a lot of tie-ins, and it tells a story that isn't being told on the news. It tells the story of possibilities that could be likely of what's really going on in our world, in our matrix. But nonetheless, if you haven't checked this out, check it out. I think you'd find it quite interesting. And is this the guy behind the coronavirus? You know, he has a location in Seattle and, you know, really some heavy stuff on this guy right here. And is this the reason why he stepped down? I mean, there's stuff going down, I don't know. But nonetheless, let's get started on this, folks. My methods of decoding, if you're new to this, just follow the numbers and the connections. It's like putting a puzzle together using the puzzle pieces, but they're different modalities. So first and foremost, I use what's called numerology, which is the science of numbers. Each letter is linked to a number. And then we can take the outcomes of these and we can tie them to other layers in our world, such as the elements of the periodic table. Why do we do that? Because they tell another story, because they have pictures. For instance, when you go to the periodic table, you'll notice that the 24th element, which matches that of the word vaccine, is the element chromium. And, you know, I didn't pick these pictures, but this Royal Society of Chemistry, they picked this picture right here. And what does that kind of tell you right there? I mean, it's a skull with wings on it. I mean, it could mean many things, but folks, use your common sense. You know, use your common sense and use logic. And then you can, you know, also find other clues in the origins of the name, who actually discovered them, the history. You know, and then there's always going to be, typically always going to be multiple weights that these elements have, and they have abundance percentages, and there's significance in here. You know, London, the crown, sits at 51 degrees latitude north on the map, and it has the highest amount of chromium. 51 is the mass, has 83%. It's the most abundant weight of chromium. Keep in mind, folks, the word chromium is linked to perhaps Google Chrome and adrenochrome. You know, I mean, think about it when you look at this picture and you think about those topics that I just told you. So these are legitimate tie-ins, and when you really observe them from these layers, it gives you another story. We also bring in what's called the cards of illumination. Typical cards in a poker deck, blackjack deck, the 52 cards. There's very great significance. These have a lot of accuracy because there's 52 cards matching the 52 weeks of the year. These cards have 4 suits matching the 4 seasons. Highly, highly accurate. So the 24th card matching that of chromium, matching that of the word vaccine, is the Jack of Clubs. And then the cousin system to that is the tarot, the ancient tarot system. And that gives us another picture to observe from. And clubs means wands, and this is the Knight of Wands. So even though this is the 24th card in the deck, this is the 33rd card in the deck, they have significance. And of course, remember, 24 is 6, 33 is 6. 66, you know, when we put them side by side. The Jack, the Knight, means going into war. The Knight on the chessboard. These are all symbolic. The Knight, the horse is on its hind legs, going into battle. This is a battle for the mind, because wands means mind. And of course, someone had to think that up. I put this here because this has great significance, I think. The first known celebrity to admit they have the coronavirus, allegedly. His name equals 31, what he goes by professionally, and that is a direct match to the name they gave the coronavirus, the COVID-19. Both equal 31. I also break down the numbers on an individual basis, and these are the elements that are linked to that, and then of course we can add those up and then get another outcome, which we're going to do in another slide. So a lot of moving parts. If you're new to this, just follow along with the basics. I promise it's very easy. Starting off with the words mandatory vaccination. It's a buzzword. It's going around on Google. Millions and millions of hits on that terminology. And I'm pointing this out because this is a master number. Double numbers that are the same are master numbers. This is obviously related to the third eye because 6 is, in the Vedic system, is the third eye chakra, which is right in the middle of your forehead, the pineal gland. The Vatican have a pine cone in the middle of the Vatican City representing the pineal gland. There's great significance to that, folks. The reason why I'm showing you the 66 and these word combinations is because of this right here. Does theology bring in a story that has some kind of significance to this, some kind of truth? I've shown this in my coronavirus decoding video that Revelation's the 66th book, the last book in the Bible, and this is really interesting because the 2 people in charge of the world's government of the United States, their birth names equal the number 66. Both of them. I mean, what are the odds? You know, one of them does, but both? They're 7 days apart in birth. They're both Geminis, yin yang. And their last names, Trump and Pence, are very similar to the word trumpets, and that is exactly the story that is talked about in Revelation chapter 8, the trumpets being blown during the end times. There's more to the story on that, but I want to leave you with that. The World Health Organization is run by the United Nations, and the World Health Organization is the organization that is running the show when it comes to these viruses and the CDC, and they have a big say in all of this. They say that they're here for your health, which I think is a bunch of malarkey. Nonetheless, look at their logo, folks. Symbolically, because that's what it's always about. Don't just take this, oh, it's just a snake, and that's what the medical symbol is, the caduceus, and don't be fooled, folks. This is the sine wave, or the sin wave, the vibrational wave that goes through our matrix reality. Everything's all about vibration, and then this is the center point, or perhaps the equator, separating the two. Notice the cross there, folks. Okay, notice that cross, and then of course notice the British flag is in there as well. If you just laid that over the top. That's because London's the crown, and they have a big say-so in all of this. This right here, folks, is a symbol of what's called the crooked serpent. That's why it's around that pole. The dollar sign, the dollar symbol's in there as well. Notice it's the letter S, as in snake or serpent. World Health Organization is a numerology outcome of 89. That matches 2 big titles and names in our world. Number 1, virus equals the number 89, and the Gnostic demiurge. Gnostic is just a branch of Christianity, or a side card of Christianity. Yaldabaoth is the Gnostic demiurge, the one that the Gnostics say rules this planet. And that's this character right here. You know, it's the lion with the worm body, or the snake body. Notice the lion head with the sun, which would represent Sirius. And you got the sun and moon here. Of course, Sirius is the big boy on the block. But it's a Gnostic demiurge, and this is what they feel creates this matrix reality and runs it. I have a feeling that this character right here is exactly the same as the Yahweh character, the Yod-He-Vah-He, which became Jehovah. Notice it starts off with the letter Y. And of course, if you know what a snake's tongue looks like, it's in the shape of the letter Y as it comes out of its mouth. You know, the serpent deceived Eve. I mean, there's so much deception going on. You just got to look for it. What's interesting about the number 89, folks, in numberempire.com is that it is a prime Fibonacci number. These are very special numbers. Prime numbers, if you don't know what those are, I'd suggest going and looking them up. It's a standalone number. And then, of course, Fibonacci number follows the patterns of nature. It's a double number. It's a prime Fibonacci number. And, you know, number 89, of course, reduces down to a number 8, goes to a 17, which goes to an 8. But nonetheless, I have the 5 here because the number 89 is the 5th Fibonacci prime number, or the 5th prime Fibonacci number. Powerful, powerful number. And of course, I have it in the shape of a snake because the 5 is the number that looks like a snake. And there's the letter Y that I spoke to you about, with the letter Y as in Yaldabaoth. Folks, this is not done on accident, and I can assure you with my truths, these guys aren't sitting down and mapping it out, choosing these. They are being used by something beyond the physicalities of mankind. The World Health Organization. Let's keep going. This is the guy that supposedly is the first known celebrity to come down with the coronavirus. I'm showing you him and his wife, his current wife, and their birthdays, because here's where the cards come into play, folks. July 9th is the 6 of diamonds. I'm going to show you the chart in a minute to figure out how to get the card and your birthday card itself. She was born on October 26th. Remember that in Back to the Future, the date set on the DeLorean to go back to the future and the past was October 26th. Notice it's the 9 of Hearts card, and when you put those two together, which is why I have the yin-yang in the background, that forms the number 69. Notice on this lady's neck, and of course her name is Rita Wilson professionally. He was in a movie called Castaway, and the volleyball he named it Wilson. Of course, Wilson equals 25, just like the word corona. The serpent she's wearing is matching that of the World Health Organization symbol. Again, the crooked serpent. Folks, this should tell you loud and clear who these people pledge to. And of course, I'm not surprised with their cards. The yin-yang, the 69. I'm showing that because let me just show you the chart first on how to get that, folks. Tom Hanks is July 9th. It would be right here, the 6 of diamonds. And then his wife, Rita, is the October 26th. That would be right here, the 9 of hearts. This is the boilerplate chart. Your birthday's in here as well. Here are the 12 months, the 31 days. Your birthday card is in here. Great significance to that, folks. You can figure out a little bit about yourself. And then these are the two boilerplate charts for the cards themselves. This is my friend's graphic, the crown line. This is the master life spread. This is the master spirit spread. I'm not going to confuse you with these, folks. This is our ego. This is our spirit. This is as above. This is so below, if you want to look at it from an esoteric aspect. Notice the 7 planets and then the 7 planets going on a horizontal line. Longitude, latitude, X marks the spot. Okay, so your cards are in here, folks. I'm showing you this because these are the plates, boilerplate charts that are used by the people that rule this world. They go by this stuff, so you got to understand it. So I'm showing this again, folks, because the 69 and the Crooked Serpent and the World Health Organization's logo, the first known celebrity to have the coronavirus, allegedly. This was a snapshot from a segment or an episode from the very popular show on Netflix called Lucifer. And this is the guy playing that character, and he's at an auction, and look at the number he's holding up, and there's great significance. This number here represents the 4th zodiac sign, Cancer, and Cancer is the heart chakra. So if they're going to program you, they're going to do it through the heart chakra. Notice Lucifer through numerology is a 28, just like the word Pope, okay? Just like the word Pluto, and you can spell out Lucifer using the elements of the periodic table. It's a 3-syllable word, Lucifer, and this is the first syllable, Lu, and that's the 71st element. Notice the numbers of this, the atomic weight of lutetium, it's 174, and if you follow Manly P. Hall's suggestion on the esoteric aspects of Lucifer, his number is 174 or 741. Doesn't matter the combination. So these right here, folks, are clues from this show. You know, even this show started on January 25th. Again, 25 Corona. Here's where it gets super interesting, folks. The World Health Organization, here is the snapshot of them and their formation, where they're located at. That has significance. You can look up the latitude, longitude of Geneva. You can you can decode the word Geneva. All of this has significance, and then put the pieces together. Here, I've done it for you on some levels. Follow the breadcrumbs. The formation of the World Health Organization is on April 7th. 1948, 71 years ago. I'm showing you the 71 because I showed you this is the first syllable in the word Lucifer. And you're saying, well, that doesn't matter because, you know, that 71 years ago, today is 2020, and that has great significance, folks. 71 years ago is 2020, the year that all this comes out. Well, look and see what the card is related to the 7th of April. It's the Ace of Spades. So their birth, they're claiming their birth as an Ace of Spades card. If you've seen my work on the coronavirus Decoded, I showed Dean Kuntz's book, The Eyes of Darkness, and the skeleton that's holding up 2 cards. One of them is the Ace of Spades, folks. Not by coincidence. The date through numerology, 4/7/1948, is a total of 33. Master number 33. 33 is always related to the typical Freemasonry, but there's 33 steps. There's the 33 vertebrae, and of course the crucifixion, the age of the Christ, 33. You know, so see the tie-ins of this date and this card. The Ace of Spades, Ace Spades is a 33, matching that of the founding date, the formation date. So what does this indicate? What does this mean, folks? It means it's stronger. It means it has strength because of these tie-ins. These guys, you know, most people that really run the world, they have astrologers and numerologists. They don't do anything without following the planets and the way they express their energy, because they believe in that stuff. There's a lot of truth to it, folks. Ace of Spades, I have 1948 because that's the year in this formation. That equals the number 74, which is linked to the 33. The element on the periodic table that has both the 33 and the 74 is arsenic. Arsenic is poisonous in small dosages. They used to use it to poison people. There's the 74 of its weight, and there's its protons, 33 and 74. I mean, folks, you got to look at these things, and what are the odds that their card and their date of formation end up matching that of the element arsenic? So do you think these guys have the best interests for the world at heart? based upon what I'm showing you. I'm showing the crucifixion because it has everything to do with the 33 and the 74, because Jesus, through the English ordinal cipher, is the number 74, which is the death of his, the 33 was his death age. But then we bring in another piece that kind of jumbles everything up. The word Lucifer, the perhaps arch enemy of Jesus. I think they're brothers, Cain and Abel, black and white. But nonetheless, that also equals the number 74. So they share that. And that gives us another layer to observe from. And are these one and the same? You know, hey, listen, religion out there will tell you, no way, that can't be true. No, that's the bad guy, that's the good guy. But, hey, man, do they work in unison to form this matrix reality? It's very possible. But nonetheless, let's keep going, folks. The Ace of Spades, which is the birthday card of the World Health Organization, in the tarot becomes the Ace of Swords. Swords means spades. And the symbology of this card is always, this is beginnings, so it's death and regeneration because you're building on something that wasn't there, which, you know, what does that tell you about the World Health Organization? And then, of course, there's the big one. It's the crown at the top of the sword. Crown. The crown runs the world. The crown. Perhaps even indicating the planet Neptune. Neptune is the 7th planet. 7th chakra is the crown chakra. It's purple. It's royal. All of these connections tie in. Reason why Michael Jordan wore the number 23 is the same reason why LeBron James wears the number 23. They work for the crown. They entertain the crown. So there's some strong tie-ins here, folks, telling us a story. This is where it got really interesting using the Chinese zodiac. This is the first time I've ever used it. Thanks again to Joe for pointing this out. This is the year of the rat, 2020. It's the first Chinese zodiac sign. Next year will be the ox. But the rat is the first one. And of course, in 1948, it was the year of the rat. So you have 71 years. 71 is linked to Lucifer. Could this be the year that the rat gets exposed and we get to see it for what it is? You know, these are the keywords for what a rat is. It means a snitch, to smell a rat. It means a traitor or an informant when it comes to the prison system. You know, I heard that Harvey Weinstein is ratting people out to get a lesser sentence, or that's what he did. It's a very good possibility, but look at these tie-in, folks. And again, you know, this is the year of judgment. Look at everything coming down the pike. Everything's coming out. The rat is being exposed, and these guys have a 71-year span, and 71 is linked to Lucifer. What are the odds of that being the case, folks? What are the odds? Even the phone number of the World Health Organization, here it is, that they list on Wikipedia. 1-202-974-3000. That has a total numerology of 28, and that matches that of the word Lucifer. So does that mean that Lucifer is the World Health Organization? Well, that I leave up to you as the observer, folks. I've given you enough clues to put the pieces together to make perhaps a conscious decision on what could be a possibility. Remember, Lucifer, 71. In 71 years, we are in the year of the rat, and this started out in the year of the rat. Strong tie-ins, folks. You know, I wanted to throw this in for good measure. This is what he goes by professionally, and this is the virus that so many people think this guy's behind. Look at the connections, folks. You know, look at the connections. These are clear connections. You know, and this tells a story, folks. My last slide, folks, the word vaccine. I showed it was a 24 tied to chromium. But when we break it down through the individual numbers and letters, 6133155, here it is through alchemy. Alchemy is the blending of energies, the blending of elements. You add them up, you bring it over the trusty calculator, and you get a 50.066. There's that 66 again, folks. There is that 66 again, tying to mandatory vaccinations, 66 book of the Bible, Revelation, Donald John Trump equals 66, Richard Michael Pence equals 66. Is that what this is telling us? It's a possibility. The 50 on the masculine side of the decimal is another story, folks, because it once again strongly ties into that freaking Ace of Spades, because the 50th card in the tarot is the Ace of Swords, and swords mean spades, and I show this. The Ace of Spades is the birth card of the World Health Organization, folks. And you got to look at this and ask yourself, and I keep saying this, what are the odds that these come out? Now, this is the first time you've seen this. Go study my channel. This is not fluky stuff. I'm not trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. I have been showing patterns of this entire methodology on other topics in our world that are on the huge part of the world stage that show the same outcomes, that tell the story. What I want to follow up on here and conclude this presentation, folks, is this right here. The 66th card in the tarot deck is the Three of Pentacles. And the cousin card in the Cards of Illumination is the Three of Diamonds. Pentacles means diamonds. And someone that has a birthday on June 14th has that Three of Diamonds card, folks. And I showed whose name equals the number 66. I just said it. Again, these are possibilities, folks. I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying for you to observe it. And what is it that you saw during this presentation? Again, if you're new to this channel, go check out my other decoding videos. This is not flukes I'm showing. These are not one-hit wonders, folks. These are legitimate pieces in the puzzle. So that's all I got for today. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality. Thanks for watching.